and welcome to another episode of Instaviews. I am Saskia, the assistant editor of Voice. Last week you were joined by Hamish, who took over for me as I wasn't feeling very well, and he did an Instaviews, but I am back and we have a very interesting guest today as part of our Black History Month segment. We're going to be talking to Keighley Douglas, hope I've said that right, in case it's Keighley, who is the creator of Kids Black History, which is a series on YouTube. And Keighley's going to be talking to us about how she got started, what it's like creating content, and why Black history is so important for kids to learn. So let's bring on Keighley. Oh, there we are. Hello.
Hello. Hi. You said my name right, by the way.
Keighley. Okay, great.
Yeah, Keighley.
Wasn't too sure. Thank you so much for joining today. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
No worries
Really
at all.
exciting. Yeah.
So why don't we just start off by introducing yourself and telling us a bit about your creative background and who you are.
Yes, so I'm Keighley Douglas, the creator of Kids Black History. I'm also a teacher as well. So I'm juggling two things at the moment. So I'm creating Kids Back History, which is a TV series on YouTube that teaches young children so our target audience is between the ages of like 0 to about 8 years old. However, many other children are watching beyond that age and are learning and co-watching alongside with their children, which is amazing to see. But yeah, I'm also teaching children in the classroom as well. I'm also head of year at secondary school. So yeah, I have a lot going on. In terms of like the creative background, so I've always had that creativeness in me, probably from birth. I studied like media studies when I was at school and college. I studied art, so I've had that creative sense. However, in terms of the creative knowledge to create Kids Black History, that has come from a lot of self-taught aspects. So I've gone on YouTube and I've learned a lot about what it takes and what's involved, to create a show that's good enough, to be watched and appreciated, etc. I've used Adobe Creative Cloud and I've learned a lot of the tutorials because initially this was started solely, by myself. So I had to, get everything going. So yeah, it's taken a lot.
No, I can imagine. I mean, everyone's like, oh yeah, I want to have a YouTube channel. And then you get there, you're like, oh my God, this is a lot of work.
Yeah, the work is intense.
So what inspired you to create your channel, like Kids Black History? What inspired you to create that?
Well, the first aspect was time. So it's a lockdown baby. It was created in lockdown. I had all this time. I was homeschooling my daughter, who's 6 years old. And doing that, I found like a massive gap in the curriculum, which of course I knew, and a lot of people obviously knew that gap was there. So through being at home, I just thought, what can I do to not only educate my daughter at home, but educate others, across the UK, beyond the UK, across the world, on Black history. And this was a topic obviously that's close to the heart. So I thought about doing this. We already had a YouTube channel that I was working on already. And I thought, should I do this alongside the channel that I've already got, or should I create something completely separate? Which is what I decided to do. So I created Kids Back History as a separate entity. I thought, you know what, people just need this central place, this one place to go to where they could learn Black history that they don't know already, or expand on, Black history topics that people want to learn more about, which is why I created it. And also the target audience. So Black history at the moment is, I feel like it's very generic. So I wanted to create Kids Back History to target that young audience. So we give children who are so small the first, kind of like an opening to Black history. It's the first that they may ever be learning these topics. So it needed to be age appropriate for those children. Which is why we've done it in a very light-hearted. You're learning so much, but it's very light-hearted. It's very positive, and it's done to just infuse and engage like a very young audience.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And your daughter, she's actually the host of your YouTube show, isn't she?
Yeah, so 6-year-old Raya, she started when she was 5. She hosts and presents Kids Black History, which is, it sounds really, really young, but this is what she is. She's just that ball of energy. She's perfect. She's just so perfect for like being a presenter and a host. And not only does she do Kids Black History, she's in that industry as
Oh,
well. So yeah, so she's got an agent, she does acting.
oh wow.
So yeah, so this is her thing. And Kids Back History as well gave her that opportunity during that lockdown phase to keep practicing her craft.
Yeah.
And I feel that the fact that she's had this, I mean, she's completed 72 episodes where she sat at that table and she's recorded, and that is a lot for a child of her age, let alone all the other things that she does, the auditions that she does for her agent, etc.
Mhm.
So yeah, she's just grown and grown. She's currently on Milkshake TV,
Oh wow.
presenting a show for Black History on there. So yeah, she's doing amazing things, and Kids Black History has really opened the door, obviously for us as a company, but for her as well.
And she's 6. That's 72
Yeah,
episodes is a lot for anybody, let alone a 6-year-old.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow, no, that's amazing. Maybe next time we'll have her on here. Like, yeah, let's
Yeah,
interview
and I can see that
interview
comment
Raya.
there as well. Yeah, she loves it.
Yeah. So like talking about Kids Back History, like you said, it is very generic. Like what gap do you feel like you're filling in the UK's education system by having this show?
Yeah, so a massive gap in the education system. I mean, I'm in the education system myself, being a
Mhm.
teacher, and also I'm seeing it, being a parent as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents that Black parents they find they have to educate their child at home
Hmm.
because there's no trust in our system. Black history is not on the national curriculum, so we have to do what we can elsewhere to get this education out there. So Kids Black History is like a little portal that you can go to, even if it was just to get topics that you could cover. And I think what's important for schools to realize is that Black history can be spread across the curriculum and be integrated into curriculum subjects. So on Kids Black History, and we've just launched our website, we've shown schools, we've shown parents that we can include Black history within science, we can include Black history within geography, and there are ways to do that. There's ways to access the curriculum through seeing these representations
Hmm.
of Black people and Black excellence within these subjects. So that's what I think schools need to realize, and the gap is huge. I mean, Black history goes to a lot of schools are working on an anti-racist policy at the moment, and we just had a seminar at our school recently, and a lot of it comes down to history, and that's what everybody was going back to. It's the lack of knowledge and history within our curriculum, within our schools, and within the teachers themselves. I mean, these are the people that are educating our children,
Yeah.
and they need to be educated as well in how to deliver this content. So at the moment, the education that we're getting on Black history in our schools, some schools are not delivering it correctly because they don't have the guidance or the knowledge there. So that is really, really important that it is delivered in the correct way.
Yeah. And also
Yeah.
sometimes that is just even delivered at all. Like I went to quite a lot of schools growing up, and the only thing that they talk about is slavery, and Black history goes way beyond, and that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's great what you're doing.
Yeah, and even the point that you made, that is something on Kids Black History that I am steering away from, especially because of our target audience, and the audience is so young. The
Hmm.
civil rights movement, the Atlantic slave trade, we are staying away from that because we are introducing, being Kids Black History, we've got such young audiences, we're introducing Black history to these children and these audiences. It needs to be positive and it needs
Yeah.
to come from a root. So for us, we start in Africa, the motherland. That's where the root of our teaching comes from, and that's where schools need to start
Hmm.
with that positivity. So yeah.
Absolutely. Someone's actually just asked a question. Have you had any feedback from schools? And I'm actually quite interested myself to know if you have.
Yeah, so there's a lot of schools that have us on their website that are using Kids Black History as a resource, which is absolutely amazing. And actually, one of the things that we're going to launch is actual written resources to go along with our episodes. So we're starting to release that via our website. I actually had a really interesting meeting at my daughter's school only last week, and they came to me about their curriculum. We sat down there and we had the curriculum map all out on the table, and we spoke about what key stages would study what aspects of Black history at what stage, and that was really, really interesting. And they are actually starting with Africa, the motherland, which is amazing. They had a lot of things in place already, but there was a lot that they didn't realize, and there was a lot that they really considered, just even little things. Even if we take out the actual curriculum itself, it's like the representation. When children get photocopies or assemblies delivered, the images that they see within these pictures, it could be just a hand pointing on the page, but if it's always a white hand, that impacts very negatively on Black children. So it's the little things within schools that they really, really need to be doing more. And I said to them as well, I said, my daughter has really started to recognise that she's a minority within not only her school. So she's mentioned her class, like she said, there's only 6 Black children, mummy, in her class. And she said, oh, when I go to ballet, I'm the only one. And there's lots of different things. And I spoke to her school about this. I said, it's really important for you to teach these children, these diverse children that go to your school, that yes, they are a minority here, but actually they're not a minority in the wider world. And I think, that's really, really important, that schools can deliver content in that way, that they realize how important they are in society and in the wider world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really amazing that, like, even if it's just your daughter's school to start with, that they're bringing you in, they're sitting you down, talking to you about it, they're asking for your advice, your opinion. Like, what you're doing is making an impact, and it's already starting to enact some change. So
Yeah, I mean, let me just say, it's not easy. And even though I'm talking to you about it, it sounds very simple. I mean, that conversation came from actually a negative experience with Black History Month. And my daughter misinterpreted some information that they were delivering, and I had to go to the school and actually just have a meeting about that. And then we had these conversations. So even still, even when we're pushing for this, sometimes it's not easy to get through the door.
Yeah.
And we have to work really, really hard, to get our message across and, what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like our story in general, really, isn't it? Like, that's sadly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say at this point, like, the fact that you are, it was terrible it had to come from a negative experience, but the fact that that conversation has now opened up, then it can continue to, go from there, hopefully.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, let's hope they don't just stop at Black History Month and continue that throughout, because even when it comes to English, it's always, like, white authors and the books that we study. There's like you said, there's room for it to spread throughout the whole curriculum and all different subjects. So I really hope that they are starting to listen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So talking about Black History Month then, what does Black History Month mean to you?
Yeah, so Black History Month is really, really interesting, because you can see there's positive elements to Black History Month, and then there are the kind of cons as well. So I think the positive side of Black History Month is it's a platform, it's an opportunity for Black creators to get noticed, people of Black origin to be appreciated, to be acknowledged, and it's almost like a limelight on what they do. And there's so much happened this Black History Month, on television. You're starting to see more, and you're starting to see the effort that the media are making. So it's good, and there's a lot of programs out there that we're able to see during Black History Month, which is brilliant. That's great. However, there is a limitation, because it is Black History Month. It is just October, and I think that limitation kind of separates Black history from history, and Black history is just history. It's just from Black origin. So history, it's world history. So I don't think that Black history should be in that box. And that goes down to what we do at Kids Black History. I wasn't doing this for you know, October, I was doing this for every single week. So you can access Kids Black History. And I don't do anything special or anything different during October, because, I mean, October is just a month. It is literally just a month. This is what's being acknowledged in the UK. But our history is, you know, every day. So yeah, I can see the positive sides to it, from where we've come from. You know, it's been an opportunity, but I think where we are now, I think it's time to get out of that box of Black History Month and open it up and make this, you know, a worldwide, everyday occurrence.
Yeah, there is no history without Black history. So
exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly that.
I always go. It's the same with any kind of like calendar kind of event, like, oh, a month for this or a day for this. I'm like, it just needs to be interconnected with everyday lives, because there's whatever kind of person it is, they're dealing with it, you know, all the time. So no, I completely agree with
We're
you.
celebrating. We celebrate every day.
Exactly. So, like you've already said, you are a teacher. You also have a different YouTube channel. Then you've got Kids Black History. How do you kind of juggle? I don't even want to say juggle, because you seem like you're doing fine. But how do you kind of navigate content creating and then your everyday teaching life as well?
Okay, this is kind of what people do not see. It is not easy at all. Like juggling, and I'm working as a teacher full time still. Obviously, the end goal is to dedicate my entire time to Kids Black History. At the moment, I'm juggling the both, and I'm working. As I said, I've got another channel, so it is intense, and people don't realise how much work goes into juggling just Kids Black History alone. I mean, the planning. We're delivering Kids Black History every single week. So there's episode 4 o'clock on Wednesdays on YouTube. So the turnaround is very, very quick in terms of planning the episodes. So writing the script, you know, that takes a lot of time, checking it over, getting that to the editors. When you get the content back, it's checking over the edits, getting that sent back if any changes need to be done. I mean, and this is all within a very short time frame. Getting everything uploaded. So you've got the logistics of just the upload of the actual content, and then there's everything else, like the business side of like managing Kids Black History. There's a lot that goes into it, whether it's, you know, pitching to companies and collaborating. The amount of emails that I get just on a day-to-day is intense. So at the moment it's like go to work, and then come home and work again, and the laptop is just out until sleep. I think I get about, on average, 5 hours sleep if I'm lucky, per day. So I'm actually enjoying this week at the moment because it's, you know, half term, but it's an opportunity for me to work harder on Kids Black History and have, you know, more time. So I'm still not really sleeping because, you know, I'm here working.
Yeah, and you're a mum as well. Like, let's not forget this.
Yeah, do you know what? That just comes so second nature. I even forget that's a job per se. And yeah, even Raya, my daughter herself, I'm juggling a lot with her activities. I mean, even her being with the agency that she's with, she might get an audition come in and we have to, you know, rehearse it and go through scripts and things like that. But at the same time, we've got to record at home, and yeah, we've got a lot going on. Life is so busy. So intense, and like I said, we just had the milkshake deal come through and we were working hard on that. So yeah, it's not easy, but every little moment is worth it. Just even one comment where, you know, someone's watching the show and they say what they've gained from it, and you know, I've had emails from people in America, Canada, let alone the UK, just saying they're watching it with the K1 classes. It's absolutely amazing, it's so rewarding, it's so worth it. So yeah, take it in my stride.
I mean, you sound like you're doing incredible, but I can imagine how exhausted you must be. Please find time to sleep.
I'll try.
I do have a couple more questions of my own, but I'm very, like, some people are writing in. So would Kids Black History be willing to film in Africa, as it's talked a lot about on your YouTube channel? So that's question one.
Africa is the absolute dream, to film abroad, especially of course in Africa, in the motherland. And we've spoken about this actually, in doing this. It's just been really difficult with the COVID restrictions. and also with time, because there's so much we're trying to do. But yes, that is the bigger picture. That is something that would be absolutely amazing. I can just imagine us doing an episode with, you know, the pyramids in the background, you know, on ancient Egypt. That would be absolutely amazing. Hi to everyone that's tuned in as well.
Yes. I mean, Keighley, you're so determined, and I'm sure there'll be an Egypt video in a year or something. Like, I just I'm loving your energy right now. Like, it's just so.
Oh, thank you so much.
When it comes to other questions, I will obviously get you to plug at the end where your website and social is and everything. But
yes,
obviously you created this during lockdown, and for some people creating was like just really hard during lockdown. You had the time on the one hand, but then you just had like that feeling of being stagnant and just wanting to go outside. How was it for you? Was it really creative and productive, or was it sometimes just like, oh, I can't do this anymore?
Do you know what? I was one of those people. Hi, Mikey and his wifey. I was one of those people that loved the lockdown. Like, that was my time. I think everything was just a bit intense just at work, and just routines. So I actually had time with my child. That was amazing to actually just have a lot of time with her and just take her almost like a time out. So I had a moment of that time out, and I had a lot of thinking time during lockdown. And that's what sparked the idea and the creative behind Kids Black History. And then it just gave me that element of time, because I think about this all the time. I think if I didn't have that lockdown period, even if this idea came to me and what needs to be done, and of course the events with George Floyd really sparked my passion to really make this happen. But I just think if I didn't have that element of time and I was having to juggle the normal routine, would this have been what it is today? And I'm not sure. So I'm really thankful for that time that we had, and I said to myself, I'm going to make the most of this time, because it's time that you're never going to get back. And it's time that I'm going to look back on and say, what could I have done, what could I do this time, what can I do, these ideas, and actually put into action. So yeah, it's kind of been like a dream come true, with having that time, creating what I've created, and then to still be working on it now, where it's going from strength to strength. It's been amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, 72 episodes already, so more to come, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So last question-ish. What advice would you give to parents on, well, obviously tell them to go and watch your YouTube channel, but what other advice would
that was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one. Like, what other advice would you give to parents on making the history accessible to their kids?
Yeah, so of course, apart from going to Kids Black History every Wednesday at 4 o'clock, I think it's being really careful with the topics that you teach your children, and most importantly, make it positive. Make it 100% positive, because the elements that you might get from elsewhere, from the media, from school, sometimes it's not done correctly. So I think when you're at home and you are picking and selecting the right education in Black history for your child, make sure it's positive Black history. Start with celebratory achievements of Black people, of Black events, of Africa, the motherland. That was my next thing. Start with the motherland. It is the root of everything. Do everything before civil rights, before slavery. Make that your absolute root. And also I think with children, I think it's nice to have like an element of surprise with your children. Like, did you know, especially, a lot of these children have already got their ideas already from what they see around them. So for them, finding out that, a Black inventor has, created something, it's almost like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And I think that makes it fun, which is another key thing to do when you're teaching Black history. Don't make it a chore. Don't make it like, oh, you just need to know this, like a lesson. Make it fun. And that's part of why we do Kids Black History in the way we do, which would make it, a fun, entertaining show, to the point where you almost don't realize that you're actually learning something. You're getting valuable information here, because you're just enjoying it and you're laughing and you're finding bits funny, and you're gaining all this knowledge. So yeah, those are my main key points. Fun, entertainment, surprise, the motherland, positive. Those are the key things.
Absolutely. And then So final question, I promise, it's just so much fun talking to you. What advice then would you give to those who want to make successful content on YouTube?
Okay, so yeah, YouTube is a tough one. I think it's out of all the platforms, I think YouTube is almost the hardest one to kind of grow at a quick rate with. But why I say it's hard is because it's consistency. With YouTube, you know, you have to be so consistent with the content. So I think having like a schedule for what you're going to put out is really, really important. And being consistent in terms of the content that you're going to put out there, the dates that you're going to release it. So for us, we do the exact same day and time every single week. Even better if you can produce content multiple times a week. You know, the more content you have on YouTube, the better it is with your algorithm. So I think that helps. But yeah, also having just quality content for YouTube. I think if you look at YouTube now from where it used to be, you know, it's people at home, but they're making these amazing videos, you know, that look like things that could be on television. And a lot of people are watching YouTube more than they're even watching TV. So the quality, you know, it's investing a little bit into it, not too much because you need your growth, but investing a little bit. I mean, when we started, one of the things I invested in was a camera, was a laptop that could handle the amount of videos that I would be uploading on there, good sound. These are just key things just so that people actually give your videos and your content a second look. And I think very, very important for YouTube is your content has to fit into its own niche and try and make it as unique as possible. So for example, with our channel, Black History, you know, it's something that other people have touched on, but our target audience is one specific audience. And we've done it in a completely different way than it's been done before. So I think it could be a topic that is well known, but do it in a different way to what you are typically seeing on the platform, and you will excel with consistency. It will happen, but give YouTube time. Yeah, you just have to give it a lot of time.
So, I mean, yeah, definitely invest because you put so much work into it. You don't want someone to just kind of like click it for a second and then just, you know, look away. So exactly, yeah, really great advice. Well,
thank you.
Keighley, where can people find you? Kids Black History, the website.
So we're in multiple places. You can find us. I would say mainly if you are watching our content, which is the main thing, which is YouTube, Kids Black History. That's all you need to type in. We have our 72nd episode coming out today, on Wednesday, 4 o'clock. So you can rewatch all the episodes there. We've got playlists of, you know, different curriculum content where you can watch it. If you wanted to watch all our science videos, all our geography videos, etc., you can all watch it there. We've just launched our website a couple of weeks ago. So we've got www.kidsblackhistory.com. You can again access our videos from our website. You can purchase Kids Black History t-shirt from our website, and you can gain access to some free resources that we have at the moment for Key Stage 1, and look out for some more resources. Subscribe to our newsletter because we send out, you know, some information, what we've been up to. Also, we're on Instagram at Kids Black History. We are on Twitter at Kids Black History. We are on Facebook at Kids Black History. I think that's about it. So yeah, you can find us everywhere. Yeah, look for us everywhere. And have a look at us on Milkshake. Have a look at Raya's Black History contribution on Milkshake as well. Done an amazing job.
Yes, she's adorable as well. So yes, go and have a look. Oh, yeah. Keighley, well, it was lovely to speak to you, and thank you so much for joining. And yeah, everybody, thank you for watching. Any other questions, go to Kids Black History on any platform and direct them to Keighley.
Yes, thank you so much, Saskia.
No problem at all. Take care and good luck.
Okay, lovely to see you. Thank you, you too.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Today's episode was made possible by Voice Magazine, an online platform for young people interested in art and culture. You You can read VoiceOver at voicemag.uk and find it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as VoiceMagUK. If you like this podcast, please consider helping us to make more with a donation of any amount at voicemag.uk/donate. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod for use of the track Thief in the Night. You can find more of his work on incomputech.com.